Somebody on the channel asked about retainers. Actually, we've had a couple of people ask about retainers. That's what we're talking about today. You've moved your teeth, your orthodontist or your dentist tells you that you need to hold them with retainers, and you're like, what?
What?
Well, there's different kinds of retainers, two major types. One is a removable retainer. These are your two most common brands. We're gonna come back to these as brands types. Then you've got we don't call it permanent. A lot of people call it permanent because it's glued in and it stays there, but it's a fixed type. So you got the removable and the fixed. And this is kind of what that looks like. We're gonna come back to that in a second. Right, you can see the wire behind those teeth, or the bonded retainer, pretty nice. Anyways, two major questions. One from De La Disquetera.
Rictus Sempra!
Probably didn't say that right, sorry. Thanks for the question though. So do you recommend Vivera retainers as the overall best brand? Vivera references the Invisalign retainer. It is a removable kind. That means you can put it in and take it out. It's a plastic and rigid. It generally, the Vivera brand covers up to the gum tissue. It doesn't usually go over the gum. Some plastic retainers, otherwise known as Essex or vacuum formed retainers, those plastics, depending on how the orthodontist or professional cuts it or the lab cuts it, may go above the gums, but the Vivera retainer only goes over, just right up to the gums, and it's a rigid plastic, and it can do a really good job. But I don't think it's not necessarily the best overall brand, right? Nobody's tested that to compare all the different plastics out there to see if there's one that's far superior in the way that it holds the teeth. So depending on your provider, you may get a different kind of brand. Here in our office, we happen to use the Vivera retainer regularly, and patients really like the way that it fits on their teeth. Not too thick, it's not too bulky, and obviously it's quite invisible. So hope that answers that question. We like the Vivera retainer. It's been great. The other retainer question from Rockhead 1986. Can you go in depth about why the permanent retainer and the plastic one and not just one or the other? Can you explain which cases need which retainer? Okay, so this individual, thanks for the comment again, is asking about one of our more recent videos with Drew. He was getting all his braces off, and we talked about doing fixed retainers, and we also did those clear retainers over the top. So let's talk about the different retainer types. Remember, okay, when it comes to retention, so we call it as orthodontists, there is really no only way to do it, all right? When you're comparing these types of retainers, these have been around a really long time, these have been around a really long time. Arguments have been made that this can last longer, just a different kind of material, more rigid, and it can allow for your teeth, right? They fit through these holes here. It can allow your teeth in the back in particular to settle into place a little bit easier after you get your braces off. But it's got that wire in the front. Nobody likes wearing that. I shouldn't say nobody. There are plenty of people that wear this and they do just fine. In fact, you check out our other videos, 58 years maybe, same retainer. An older woman had come in to get a retainer place, had worn this for, that long. And then you got the clear retainer, right? Different kinds of plastics, but generally speaking, it covers all of your teeth. Cosmetic. The thing about this is, it definitely covers your teeth. So when you bite down, you're gonna bite into plastic. For those of you who have used Invisalign, that's probably gonna be no big deal. But for those who haven't used Invisalign, you might be like, oh, that feels different. I'm wearing something. Cleaning this, you have to clean both, right? You get spit and that gets built up right here in your trays. But as far as the research is concerned, the differences in the way that they hold the teeth is negligible. Meaning that they both can do a great job, and that any movements that you have, right? Retainers don't 100% prevent your teeth from moving. They try to reduce the movement that will happen. The only way to prevent your teeth from moving completely would be to have your teeth in braces all the time, or all your teeth glued together for the rest of your life. At least that's what we know right now. Okay, so you got these two retainers, and then this one right here, right? This type of retainer is Excelente, and the one that we use in our office, we glue it onto each of these teeth, behind the teeth. A lot of folks can get those behind the bottom teeth. Well, sometimes we can do it on the top. It's a little bit harder on the top because when you bite down, right? You bite down, look all the way in there.
Magnify.
Well, you're gonna put the retainer up on the top teeth, and look where those bottom teeth land, right? They land right where you might place that, that top retainer, and you could be biting on it. So it could lead to, early breakage or just a constant issue. So sometimes we don't put the glued retainer up there, otherwise you have to really push it up into the gums, it can be tricky. So not everybody gets a glued one up there, or not everyone is as good of a candidate. Not that you're not a candidate, just not good. Okay, so we've talked about the different retainer types. Let's talk about when you might use different retainers. Okay, this one right here and this one right here. this particular type of retainer is called a wrap. It means that it goes all the way around the wire, right? It connects from the acrylic and goes all the way around. And this one right here, it hooks onto the back tooth and goes to the front. These types of retainers are really good for if you had extractions, right? Where you had to close a lot of space in the back teeth too, because if you don't have something that keeps your back teeth connected to your front teeth, then over time, you might see a little space open up. So in Drew's case, we had, lots of spacing, and you could connect the front teeth with a glued retainer, and that'll keep those spaces closed. But if there's any space in the back, over time, you might, or it could be like really fast, those spaces try to open back up. So we use these types of retainers to hold all of your teeth together. These types of retainers are also good if you're trying to maintain width in the back. That means that with braces or Invisalign, expanders, whatever you do, you spread things out, your teeth tip out this way. And if you want to hold it out there, well, over time, your cheeks are going to try and push that back in, unless you have something like this that, is rigid and keeps the teeth out when you wear it consistently, because this maintains semblance of rigidity. So these can be good for those types of cases where you're just like, hey, I really want to maintain my arch width, my broad smile, then you consider something like that. So keeping all the spaces closed and broad smiles, really good. Actually, there's different ways to design this, but we're just specifically talking about the wrap. Then the glued retainer, okay? This one right here shows two teeth on top, right? A lot of people get, a space right between their front teeth, and they want to close that space. Well, when you close it, if you choose something like this, it can keep it closed. But when most people start wearing these at night, they might see a little space open up during the day. And so if you want that space to stay closed all the time, then you glue something back in there, and that will keep that space closed. And in our office, we like to recommend where if you're going to do the glued retainer, you consider doing something like this over the top of it. For those reasons that we just talked about, this can help maintain the width in the back. And also if there were any spaces behind, right? If you only glue the front 4 teeth or front 6 teeth, if there was any space that was behind that and you don't have something like this, those teeth are gonna move. This can also help maintain the teeth. Sometimes, unfortunately, when you do those glued retainers, they can get bent. And then if you just let them go, the bent wire can actually move your teeth. So this can try to prevent that. In addition, right, I've seen it plenty of times, people come into my office, whether they're my patients or people that have just been treated elsewhere, and a broken glued retainer, and then they don't get it fixed, and so the tooth moves. If you have something like this, in theory, right, if something breaks or you notice something's moving, if you're wearing this consistently, then it can help keep your teeth straight until you can get it fixed. So a little bit of an insurance policy. That is a lot of information. There's no, like I said, there are very few situations where like you ask an orthodontist, like a bunch of different orthodontists, and they would say the exact same thing as far as when and why. But those are some general guidelines. Hopefully that helps. Good luck for those of you who are choosing retainers. Congratulations on getting through your orthodontic treatment. If you know friends who need retainers or even the initial orthodontic treatment, show them this video, or better yet, come find us in McKinney and Anna, Texas. Leave a comment below, like the video, give us a thumbs up so that I can open your eyes, so I can continue to open your eyes to the wonderful world of straight teeth and beautiful bites. That's all I've got, just a little PFOing, so you know where you're going. Packard out.